Hello and welcome to Lifetime Uncorked, the podcast where we discuss your favorite made-for-TV movies. Whether you love to hate watch or hate yourself for loving them, pour up a glass of your favorite cocktail and join us. I am your host, Patrick Serrano, and my guests today are...
I am Drew Current.
And I'm Rebekah Frese.
Yeah.
Rebecca's back in the house.
Back in the house.
Yes.
For a very special episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rebekah and I have been working on a series. We're doing a series, Drew, about eating disorder movies on that were featured heavily on Lifetime. They're produced by other companies.
Right.
But, you know, it was very much a trope of Lifetime movies. So we felt like it was important to talk about. And then Rebekah is my expert here.
Expert on what?
You know, right? But
Yes.
I just want to say at the top of the show, if eating disorder talk is not your thing and you're triggered by this or need to not participate in this conversation, now is your time.
It's totally fine.
Wait.
Come back next week. We'll do murder. We'll do stalking. We'll kill cheerleaders. We'll do whatever you want.
We'll have a party next time where
Yeah.
we kill the cheerleaders.
Yes. So, you know, this will be a bi-weekly thing for the next 7 weeks, or I guess 14 weeks. We're going to do 7 episodes about the eating disorder movies.
Yeah.
And we'll alternate between an eating disorder movie and a regular murdery whatever movie.
Yeah, to give you a break.
You know,
Yes.
keep it light.
Keep it light.
To keep it light.
And
like some light murders.
Not to say that this is going to be very serious, because I don't think that's possible with me.
Especially with these movies.
Yes, they are kind of problematic, or they just are problematic.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about why. We'll explain it to Drew, because Drew really did, this is double things that probably you don't understand. I mean, I don't know your life. Maybe you did have an eating disorder.
I don't. I never did. I mean,
Well-
I like food that's not good for you, but,
Right.
you know,
Sure.
Must be nice.
Right.
I like
But,
those. I like those things.
Yes. So, you know, we'll be explaining eating disorders to you and also the movie as well.
Great. So I'll make fun of the movie, not the eating disorder itself.
Exactly. No offense to anybody
Right.
with an eating disorder.
At least not on purpose.
Right.
Not
we
on
love
purpose.
you. We love you, and you're great. Okay. So yes, today we're gonna start with. Well, Rebekah, let's welcome you before we jump in.
I feel
How have you
welcome.
been? What's going on?
Things are good.
Yeah.
I got a new job, I think, since the last time I was here.
Yeah.
I manage a gym. I
Nice.
work out a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Living that healthy life.
Yeah.
Which kind of ties in to what we're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
Yeah,
So you
kind
get
of.
free because
Kind
you're
of.
the manager of the gym, and you can work out for free there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight.
It's a good time.
That is. I mean, I worked at
Yeah.
Bally's when I was 20. I mean,
Yeah.
last year when I was 20.
Right. Right.
Because
Right.
you're 21 now.
Right before it closed last year.
Right before it closed, yes. And, you know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a free gym also.
Yep.
So, you know, just lifting weights.
It's a good time.
Great.
I also do editing for Patrick still
It's true.
on
Yeah.
the Lifetime Uncorked blog.
yes.
That's your
and-
real job. That's the real
That's
full time.
where the real
Yeah.
money is.
That's where
Yeah.
the real money is.
He pays my bills. And then I also recently started my own website. It's called RebekahReads.com, where I share my thoughts on books that I'm reading.
Oh,
so
right.
you
Yeah.
can check that out too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So many things.
So many.
But today, you are not here to do any of those things.
No.
You are here to talk about the first movie in our eating disorder series, which is called Best Little Girl in the World. That's the title.
Best little girl
In
in
the
the
world.
The
Oh.
worst movie ever.
It's based on a book by, where's the name?
It was a book?
Oh, yes, it was a book. It's based on the 1976 novel written by Stephen Levenkron.
Oh,
It was written by a man?
Yes.
So much of it makes sense now.
Yes.
Oh my
This
god.
movie was
the
written.
cover of the
written
book.
Explain the cover, Drew. Explain the cover. Okay. So we have.
It's this guy.
I know.
This guy trying to pull food away from this woman who's eating something, and he's like, "Argh!"
Yes.
And he's, oh my god.
Well,
that's amazing.
It's a scene from the movie, Drew. So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right.
So this movie stars. Well, it stars, of course, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Drew, who you know and love.
Yeah, yeah.
This was one of her first movies, and she actually replaced Jodie Foster in the role. Okay.
Really?
Oh.
So this is a very coveted movie of the time. It was 1981, came out on ABC, I think, maybe CBS.
Okay.
It also stars Charles Dunning,
Charles Durning.
Durning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Ava Marie Saint from, what is that movie? Oh my gosh. I should have wrote it down. She won an Oscar for it with Brando.
On the waterfront.
On the waterfront. Yeah. Yes. So
All right.
she was in that. And I thought this might have been the end of her career where she was like done and just playing moms.
Yeah,
No, she had a long career after this. So this was like middle of her career.
Yeah.
All
Doing a
right.
TV movie.
Just doing a TV movie, man.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Maybe she had to pay the bills.
right.
Yeah.
All the stars of the movie are here. And this movie is a little different, Drew, than ones we've talked about because it's the first instance of an eating disorder being portrayed in a movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it also is serving as a PSA to Americans at the time about eating disorders because they didn't really come out into like pop culture with this book written by, my notes are all over the place. I have to keep looking at different tabs. But this woman, her name was Hildy Brunch.
Healthy brunch.
She wrote a book in 1978 called The Golden Cage, The Enigma of Anorexia Nervosa. And that kind of is what all these movies are based on, like the science that she put behind it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there was a woman actually studying
Good.
the topic in the 70s, which is good. But this movie has no women on the writing staff, no women involved in production or directing.
Yeah, I mean, it was 81,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. So all men all the time.
All men, all the time.
Great. Telling women's
1981.
stories. Thanks,
What's
Lifetime. A Lifetime, like, I don't think has ever aired this movie that I remember because I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like they would.
Right.
Is it black and white?
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's just like very hard to find. We watched it on YouTube.
Yes.
Oh.
And the sound is off from the dialogue.
All the time.
The whole
It's
movie.
out of sync?
It's out of
Oh,
sync.
no.
And
But
it's like real pixelated,
Yes.
unless that's just my slow
No,
internet.
that's correct.
But like I think it was.
Because it's
Just
old.
the resolution is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a made-for-TV movie of that era, so I can't imagine the quality would be great.
Did yours like every once in a while you see the VCR like? Yep.
Oh, okay.
Like
so
where it
someone-
like grayed
Yes.
out a little bit and then it came back.
So,
Yeah.
but the reason we're talking about it is because it's the first,
It's the first one.
and it sets up the tropes that we're going to be talking about through this series. Okay?
Yeah.
So
There's a long list.
there's a long list of tropes. We will teach them all to
Yes.
you, Drew.
I'm in.
And to our
I'm in.
listeners, thank you if you're still here. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, so let's jump in. So we have Casey Powell. She's a very, very young Jennifer Jason Leigh. Jennifer Jason Leigh, by the way, lost like 10 pounds for this role. She was like 98 pounds. She got down to like 86 pounds.
Jesus.
I know. Insane.
For a TV movie.
Right. Yep.
That's what we call method acting.
Yes. She's very serious. So it starts off with her running. Okay. Here's a trope for you, Drew.
They all start this way.
Every
Okay.
movie about an eating disorder starts off with a woman running. You might remember women running in other Lifetime movies. They're
they were
usually
running.
being chased.
They're being
Right.
chased by a murderer. Yes.
These people are not being chased. They're running for their health, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
So yeah.
Their
So
health.
so we kind of think at first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want you to picture it, Drew. Jennifer Jason Leigh is running. She's in her 80s sweats. She has like a, towel headband thing.
Yep.
A sweatband.
Yeah.
And her
And-
hair is down. It's not in a ponytail.
Right. And this is the song that she's running to.
They hadn't had ponytails yet.
Not yet. Not in 81.
Not
no
in
way.
81.
Okay, here we go. So just picture her running. She's running. Yes, this is a Joni Mitchell song called Songs to Aging Children. That's the title right there. Okay. This is the song that is on a continuous loop in the mind of the character of Casey. Okay.
Yes.
So
Okay.
whenever she's lonely and sad, this song picks back up and plays throughout the whole movie.
I, at one point, wrote in my notes that the soundtrack was horrible, and I think it was just because I kept hearing this song.
Yes,
And-
this was the song.
Uh-huh.
And I
in
love Joni
opportune
Mitchell.
like inopportune times. I'm like,
Yes. Imagine Jennifer Jason Leigh sitting in a chair, looking off out of the window, and this playing. Yes, seriously. So It plays, I'm not kidding, it plays while she's folding laundry. It plays while she does her homework. She's looking out the window. It's very melodramatic and over the top. But I would say in 1981, if I was me and I was like, 25, like I am now, I would be like, yes, Joni Mitchell queen. Yes, turn that up. Yes, I love Joni.
Joni Mitchell.
That was like a bop back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Actually, I probably was not. So immediately after the opening credits, we are bombarded with like a lot of food imagery. Okay.
Immediately.
Okay.
It is like Casey. She's eating pancakes for breakfast. She's going to lunch with her girlfriends, and one of them is a young Helen Hunt.
Oh, really?
You wouldn't be able to tell on the resolution that you watched, Rebecca.
Right.
But one of them's young Helen Hunt, and her mom is like, "Oh, I'll buy you a bathing suit if you can lose weight to fit into it."
The main character's mom says this.
No, this is
one of
Helen
her
Hunt.
friends.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And the mom's like bribing her daughter to lose 5 pounds to get a designer bathing suit because she's too flabby. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. And all the other
That's the
girls were
start.
like, I would lose 5 pounds for that designer bathing suit. Tee-hee.
Tee-hee.
And they all definitely don't have 5 pounds to lose.
No, they are all like young adolescent girls. I mean, they're
Yeah.
probably like 15.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
don't have that.
They're freshmen in high school.
Right.
You need to
So-
you need to gain it
Right.
when you're that age.
Yes. But they're also like athletes. So
I probably just
they're like
triggered
trying out for
somebody.
cheerleading squad.
They're
and like
dancers.
Yeah. They're just like in the extracurricular activities. They're like if it was a movie now, they'd be like popular girls.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like a social thing where they're like losers.
Right.
Like they're pretty popular. They're just like hanging out at lunch, whatever. And Casey actually does go to try out for the cheerleading squad, and there's like this creep guy that's like, "Ooh, yeah, I love the way you move, baby."
And she just freezes. Like she doesn't know how to react to that.
yeah, and it's just like, what is happening right now? Why is this in here? We'll get to it,
Okay.
because they explain it later. Now that I'm talking it through, I understand, because they're going to explain how all the things that they're setting up
Right.
are based on this book about anorexia.
It only takes 60 minutes to get to the explanation.
Yes, we will get there much faster than this movie did. Of course.
I'm already there, I believe.
Right. So,
Probably.
But I was born in 81, so I've had a lot of time
right,
to figure it out. Yeah.
So Casey's family life isn't much better because at home she's pretty much ignored by everyone in her family. So she has a sister, and the sister's name is Gail.
Yes.
Okay. Gail is pregnant.
Uh-oh.
Okay. The dad is like so pissed, right?
Yeah. Her mom, they're like eating dinner, trying to have normal conversation.
Lots of dinner scenes.
And then all of a sudden, her mom just runs out of the room crying and screams. He's like, Gail's pregnant. And
Yes.
the dad is like, no. So then we have the worst girl. And Casey is left as the best little girl.
So the worst big girl and the best little girl.
Okay.
You got it. So Gail is really set up as like an antagonist to everything. And she's like, Dad, this is the 80s. I can raise a baby on my own.
But also, I'm going to live here.
And he's like, be quiet, you streetwalker. Because the dad only is at a level 10 yelling. Yeah. And he has like a weird like accent.
All of his dialogue
He's
is
the
there.
one. He's the one in the
He's
cover.
the one on the cover shouting at his daughter to like eat a peanut butter sandwich.
He's shoving
He's like,
the
eat
food
the
into
peanut
her
butter
mouth.
sandwich. Eat the peanut butter sandwich. Yes. He loses it. He loses it. Because he doesn't understand. Because America doesn't understand at this point.
Right.
Why wouldn't you eat
Why
food?
wouldn't you eat food?
Right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense if you've never heard of it.
Right.
And at this time, a lot of people never had.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, I hadn't.
Right. You hadn't heard about
But
it
I
until
was
just
born.
now.
Yeah.
So, like...
I've never heard of
right, you're
anorexia ever.
Right. So, and if you have heard about it, it's probably incorrect.
Yeah.
You know? So...
If this is the movie you got all of your education from, it's wrong.
Right.
No, it was someone explaining the movie to me. Is
Right.
Where I got it.
Oh,
Sure.
you're right.
Oh, right. Yes. I'm very inaccurate. If you send me corrections, that's great. I probably will get a lot of things wrong in this series, but I will do my best.
That's what I'm here for.
Right. Exactly. She's here to keep me in check. If my jokes have gone too far, Rebekah will step in and say, no,
She'll be like,
no, Patrick.
No.
Drink some more wine. So I'm drinking red wine. Okay, I've classed it up, everyone,
Yes.
just in case you're curious.
Instead of rose.
So-
For the serious topic that this is.
Exactly. So
Good old healthy red wine.
as the whole family's fighting, Casey is just left at the table by herself. And she's just like, gets up from the table and walks upstairs. She goes to her room, closes the door, and then she does crunches in front of the mirror.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, not crunches, sit-ups. Because
Is
it's
this-
81. Crunches didn't exist.
Right.
Sit-ups.
Is this when she does them in front of the mirror or in her bed?
In her beds later.
Oh, okay.
In the hospital. Yes.
You're right.
But this is also a very common thing in eating disorder movies. Like, they also have like compulsions to exercise, to like burn off the calories of the things that they're like. She might have ate a bite of
Right.
chicken at dinner and like, oh,
No, get it out. Get it
have
out.
to get it out.
Yeah.
Which-
Or work it off because she's
which-
not bulimic.
Yes. And
Well,
in
not
our
yet.
like, they seem to merge a lot of symptoms and different things from different eating disorders
Oh, yeah.
as like a way to make it more dramatic.
Yes.
Which
They don't really. Yeah.
they don't understand what they're doing yet.
They don't.
Very problematic. So we are next at ballet rehearsal because you can't be have an eating disorder in pop culture and not be a ballerina. You know,
Right.
center stage.
Correct.
Well, that's the one movie I can think of, center stage. But any movie.
Yeah. Black
I
Swan.
mean, Black Swan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have people with eating disorders in them. They're always ballerinas. So this is no exception. We have a Glenn Close knockoff. And she's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And she is like,
Dégagé,
Yeah.
dégagé.
thank you, because I don't know any ballet terms.
I don't
only
think
know,
the screenwriters did either.
Right.
They
They
just
only-
threw some stuff out there.
like downward dog.
All right. And downward dog.
So Casey, the Glenn Close knockoff is like, Casey, you have a great dancer's body. You're doing great, but you could stand to lose a couple pounds. No more milkshakes for you, she says as Casey runs off.
No.
A real line. I was like,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
more milkshakes.
No more milkshakes
Instead of
for
like,
you.
goodbye. It's no more milkshakes. What?
Remember, no more milkshakes. Remember.
Yes. Which is crazy. And Casey is a dancer, so that's like an accelerant for her weight loss. Like she wants to be like a better dancer. So she needs to lose weight for that. And she talks to her family at dinner because all their talking happens at dinner. And she's like, oh, fake Glenn Close told me to lose weight. I need to lose a few pounds.
Right.
And her dad's like, you're crazy. Or he says, I wrote it down so I could quote it. He said, you've never given us any trouble. That's why we love you so much. Quit dancing and be a good wife and mom someday.
There it is.
You know?
Classic 80s.
Right. Oh, boy. So
That's what I was told when I was born in 1981.
So we go to a party next.
Be a good wife someday, Drew.
At the party, they only play Heartache Tonight by the Eagles on a loop. So they had big money at the time.
So they had some Eagles.
Like, it's a
Joni
heartache
Mitchell?
tonight. A heartache tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, and Casey's like drinking beer, and this guy like gets her to go to her car and smoke weed, and she's like, "Just say no." Even before Dare, she was like, "Just say no," and he's like getting all handsy, and she's like, stop, like, no, I don't want to do that, and he's like, "Well, you're a tease," and he leaves. Okay,
He leaves though.
he does.
He does.
Right, because I thought it was going somewhere else, but that's a different Lifetime movie.
Yeah, that's
We'll be covering that next week.
Right, yeah. But she like goes home after this incident happens, and she hops on the scale and then throws up in the toilet.
Yes.
Okay, so now she's like showing signs of
so
bulimia
now she's
too.
bulimia. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Bulimia.
And I'm gonna jump a little bit. We'll jump to Thanksgiving, which is like the anorexia's like worst nightmare holiday because it's based around food. There's nothing you can do. So like they're carving a turkey, and like you see like the knife slice through the turkey, and then like the slice of turkey falls and it's Casey's face, and she's just like, okay, I'm done with that bit.
No.
No, it's
But it's
comes
accurate.
back.
It's accurate. And the family's like joking, and Gail's like, they're like, haha, Gail's eating for 2 and Casey's eating for none.
Yeah.
which is rude.
Wow.
The
That's kinda
whole
rude.
movie, like, even her mom is kind of making jokes at, like, oh, you know, it wouldn't hurt to lose a few pounds. Like,
Right.
I think
like just offhand comments like that.
Was it just like, because I can't imagine a world where, or imagine a time where like you didn't know about anorexia.
Right.
So if that was the case, it would just be like, oh, they don't eat a lot.
Right. They're not that hungry.
They're not oh, she just doesn't eat a lot. Like, no biggies.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally weird to think about,
Right.
because we can't comprehend that, but it
Right.
really was the case. Like,
Right.
Karen Carpenter, like, is like the most famous anorexic for dying from anorexia. That doesn't happen for another 6 years. So her whole thing doesn't happen for 6 more years, and that's when like America's like, this is tragic and dangerous and can kill you. Before
Right.
that, and people are like, so what? They don't
just
eat.
Don't eat as much.
Eat something. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That is how they like think you can.
Oh, well,
solve
that's
it.
Right.
that's an easy disease to cure.
Yeah,
just eat something instead of don't eat something.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were problematic children instead of like sick children.
Right.
Right.
It was more just like
Yeah.
those kids. These kids these days, they don't like to eat as much.
Right.
Hey, they don't like to fucking eat as much.
Exactly. So, things escalate at the table, and everyone starts screaming at each other. And Casey walks away, and that song plays again. She jumps on the scale, and she's like taking off her shirt because she's like, "Oh no, I weigh too much. My clothes must be messing me up." And I brought a clip to play for you, Drew,
Okay.
because I want you to first see the body double. We'll talk about the body double, and I want you to just hear the dialogue,
Okay.
because it's just very whatever of what we're talking about.
Oh my God. Get up. Casey, what have you done? Your bones! Oh, Mom! Don't tell Mama! No, don't tell Mama! You're jealous! You're fat and jealous!
Okay.
That is really out of sync.
Uh-huh.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
she
yeah.
slammed the door slam,
Yes.
and then it's like,
Right.
right? She actually does that.
I mean, that's the whole movie, Drew. This is what we go through for you. We watch
Yes.
these movies so you don't have
Yes,
to.
thank you.
Really don't watch this one because it's crazy out of sync.
It's just all-
For your own sanity.
Yes. But basically, what that whole thing is like to set up is another trope, Drew, of these movies is seeing the back of the girl, the bony back of the girl, and being like, "Oh my God, they're so skinny. What happened?" You know, and like that image is like a trigger for a lot of people with eating disorders because they don't see it that way. They don't see her as too skinny. They see that as like aspirational, maybe. Which is why these movies are problematic as like a cautionary tale, because it's not a cautionary tale to somebody with an eating disorder.
right.
Right.
They're like, that's fine. That's where I want to go.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, she's 80 pounds. That's my goal weight
I
now.
want to be that.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's very competitive disease.
It's a competitive disease.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that, but yeah.
yeah.
I got, yeah.
So the thing that's funny about this scene to me, pivoting, doing a hard pivot, I love that Casey calls her sister fat because she's pregnant, and I'm like, she's pregnant though. So that's very rude, Casey. You like,
She's growing a
yeah,
human.
she's growing a human.
just jealous of me. She's like, your bones,
Isn't that crazy?
your baby.
Yeah, but Drew, that's how everyone talks in this movie. Did you have anything to say about that scene before I move on, Rebecca? Because you brought it up before we were taping.
I don't.
Okay, we covered it. Nailed it.
That's it.
So this is the catalyst to get the mom to be like, okay, something's really wrong. They go to the doctor, okay?
He weighs her.
Yes,
Okay.
he does.
Do you remember how much he said she weighs?
No.
86.3 pounds.
That's
She's
tiny.
in high school.
That's a small
She's
person.
a 15-year-old high
Yeah.
schooler.
That's very small.
86 pounds. I was never 86 pounds.
I
like,
mean, at
ever.
some point you were.
No, I don't think. I think
You just jumped. Sure. So what's interesting
there was
is
like 5 minutes that I was like 86 pounds.
right.
Maybe.
This is where the doctor starts mansplaining. But he's not really mansplaining because people in this time period didn't know what anorexia was.
I think he's the necessary character that has all of the information that has come about by 1981.
Gotcha.
Yes. I brought a clip of what he says.
It's like
Great.
they took all of the statistics they could find, and that was his dialogue.
Put it into one
those are his
monologue.
lines?
Yes.
Great.
So we'll play that, and then we'll poke holes in like what's inaccurate
Right.
in 2019.
Yes.
Anorexia nervosa, self-starvation. Usually it's found in an adolescent who feels she has no control over anything in her life, so she denies her hunger in order to have control over at least one thing, her body. Also has something to do with the fear of growing up, of sexuality. Anorexic girls lose their breasts, stop having periods. In general, they revert to a childlike system. It's a very serious disease. Last year, 5,000 girls died from anorexia nervosa.
Casey's never had a sick day in her life.
Joanne, it's not caused physically.
So can I throw my guesses out of what's wrong?
Yes, please.
Of
Sure.
what is incorrect?
Yes. Okay.
The sexual part, I think, is very wrong. Yeah.
Right.
Like very wrong. And then the self-starvation, like known as self-starvation, like I don't feel like anyone who's anorexic is purposefully like starving themselves. That feel like it's like I mean you that is what is happening, but that's not the goal for that. Like, that it's like, no, I just want to lose weight and this is how I'm doing it.
So
Or
I
does it-
think that would depend case to case.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Different things trigger different eating disorder habits.
Yeah.
What I will agree with is the issue of control.
Yeah, that one sounds correct. Yeah.
When especially young people don't have any control over anything in their life, the one thing they do have control over is what goes into their body.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of the time. So if that's the one thing that they can control, that's what they're going to do. And the side effect then is going to be losing weight, not necessarily
Right.
like that's their goal.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant by the starvation.
Yes.
Like that's the side effect of it, but it's
Yes.
not like, oh, I'm self-starving. I'm going to starve myself.
Right.
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 The fear of growing up, I don't think I've ever heard that as
That's ridiculous.
Not until this movie.
Well, that goes with the sexual
Like,
thing.
right.
Like, I feel
Right.
like that's the same.
Well,
Right.
because
in
it's
that
the
same
side
boat.
effect of having an eating disorder. If you're
Is-
going through it at that time where you're going through puberty,
Right.
your period's gonna stop. You're gonna stop developing because your body's not nourished to go through the process of puberty.
Right.
You know?
It's the same like it's not the same as like gymnasts.
Right.
But when they are training so hard, they don't start puberty until much later in age because they're suppressing that part of their system.
Oh, gotcha.
So when you're not eating enough, it's also suppressing that.
Our bodies are so crazy, you know,
What is
that they can
what
do
are
that.
these disgusting meat bags that we have
Oh my
walking
God.
around with?
So
Just so fragile.
yes. So the mansplaining happens here, and yes,
I just raised my hand
I
just
know.
so the listeners know.
That's the first hand raise.
I want to
Thank you. That
Ever.
is. Thank you.
good.
So he's diagnosing her with anorexia here.
Yes.
Which still by today's medical guidelines is not diagnosable officially until a patient has lost like 20% of their body weight, which is when you're already fit, like your organs are already starting to fail.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's something like recently the medical field, they're trying to change these guidelines because anorexia is more of a behavioral
Right. It's more
disorder.
psychological, right?
Yeah.
So it's-
right than waiting for the physical side effects to show up.
Right.
Because
Right.
by that time,
It's like too late.
It's almost too late.
yeah, it's very dangerous to look at it that way because it is.
It's
totally.
it is psychological.
I mean,
it's
is it totally
100%.
psychological?
I
It
feel
is.
like it's 100% psychological. Well, the effects of it are
Are physical.
but
But-
the reason, right, is
Right.
psychological.
Right.
Okay. So let's breeze through this because we're almost at 30 minutes, and I'd like to get like some talking points at the end. So, Casey,
This movie went on forever.
Yeah, it really does. So Casey's parents are now aware of what anorexia nervosa is. They do think it's contagious, and they're just totally wrong about a lot of things.
It's really not.
It's really not. So they find like laxatives and diet pills and suppositories in Casey's room.
Combining all of these different
No, that's a different one. Yeah.
Different symptoms, different triggers, stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And this is when the dad's like, I've had enough of this. He takes Casey downstairs. He starts making a peanut butter sandwich. He's like, I hate peanut butter sandwiches. He's like, you're going to eat this sandwich. He's like, you're going to eat this sandwich.
Everybody is shouting.
Everyone's shouting. The mom's shouting. Gail's like, like crying because her sister called her fat. And Casey, like, you're just jealous, bites her dad's hand instead of eating the sandwich. Like, that's how much she's like not trying to eat that sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to bite it.
So they realize that they've come to a point where they can't really take care of her. Okay, so they're going to admit her to a hospital.
Which, in this movie, eating disorder treatment seems more like forced rehab.
Yeah, it's very much a girl interrupted. You're crazy.
Yes.
Yeah,
in a psych ward type of vibe.
You're hysterical or something,
Yeah.
and and then puts the things on your head and shock jams.
Right.
Yeah.
And Casey calls her family from the hospital. She gets like assigned a caseworker, and he's like a New York kind of guy. I think I forget what his name is. But he's gonna do therapy with her basically and kind of get her better. And
Again, statistics turned into dialogue.
right, all that is just
All of
like
that.
dialogue about the disease, like from a textbook.
Gotcha.
From 1970, whatever. So, it's not necessarily accurate. So, Casey is like telling her parents, she's like, I'm better now. I'm alone. I don't want to be here. And she's like crying. And her parents hang up on her.
Like I said, rehab.
Yeah, they're like, she's too far gone.
It's like, no.
Click.
Too bad.
And she's like, hello.
Such a shame.
She tries to escape and she can't get out the door because she's so weak from not eating. She faints. Fainting. Big trope of these movies, Joe. I think she faints like 3 times in this movie.
Yeah.
At least.
Because we missed the part where she like walked around and was stealing the laxatives and she like fainted in the store or whatever. Anyways, so Casey is spending time in the eating disorder ward or whatever we're going to call it. And she meets this girl named Carol. And Carol is like the best eating disorder girl. Okay. Again, being competitive, she's like, oh, if you're gonna do it, you better do it right, like me.
Oh, okay.
And she like teaches her all the tricks of like how to like get out of like, I don't know, eating stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, how to
how to walk with her IV bag so she can burn off whatever she eats.
Yeah,
Like
all the tricks. And she's like, I eat whatever I want and I just throw it up. And Casey's like, really?
people do that.
People
that's a
do that?
thing. And this is the thing, Drew. Girls watching this movie in 1981 are like, oh, people do that. I should try that.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have never thought of it unless somebody told you about it.
Right.
It's not a natural thing for you to think of.
This is an eating disorder school.
Basically. I mean, yeah, because then Casey starts kind of doing that too. And the girl, Carol, is like, I just want to be like the best anorexic there ever was. Like, that's a line she says.
That's a line?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have it in quotes.
Oh, wow.
And Casey's like, I want to be the best too. And this is when she's doing her sit-ups in bed.
Yeah. Again. Yeah.
And they're holding like fruit, so they look like they're eating. And it doesn't work out for Carol. She dies.
Oh, yeah.
She overdoses on pills.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm confusing the two movies
She probably
now.
just had she probably had like 2 Advil and then
Okay.
Yeah.
done.
Like,
But
Done.
no. So Casey gets another escape attempt, and she like rips out her feeding tube and goes outside the hospital. It's like raining, and she's like just trying to get out of there. She doesn't want to be there. She's so disoriented and weak that she collapses in the rain, and the doctor comes and like picks her up, the psychologist. And this is another trope. The man savior of the person struggling with the eating disorder is always going to be saved by a man physician who's going to like take care of her.
Yeah, I got this. Yeah.
So their last resort is family therapy. That's the last resort. The doctor's like, well, I've tried everything. I guess we'll get the family in here.
Right.
And talk things through.
The reason for this probably.
The Gail, the sister's like, she admits that she's like a terrible sister and she's very selfish. The dad's like, you know, he doesn't really listen. The mom's like, she's like argumentative. And then they all start yelling at each other.
The three of them start yelling at each other.
Like crazy yelling.
Yes.
And then Casey is looking out the window.
She looks out the window. The last 7 minutes of this movie were the longest 7 minutes of my life.
Yeah, because they probably played this song
The
2 more
entire
times.
7
Yeah,
minutes.
the whole. And the doctor's like, stop. Everyone look over at Casey. And they're like, huh? And they look over. And there's, you know, she's just sitting there. And then they're like, Casey, do you have something to say? And she's like, I just want you to love me.
But
Oh, yeah, that's
she's
all
like,
it
I
is.
hate my family, but I want them, and I hate wanting them. And it's very like,
Oh.
that's all I got.
Right. She's just so neglected that she just did it for attention is kind of what the movie is like
Right.
implying. They don't say that, but it's like kind of what the whole reasoning is behind her psychosis for this. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the film closes with Dr. Clay, that's his name, Dr. Clay. Him and Casey are in the cafeteria, and he's like, I'm eating some ice cream. Would you like a bite of ice cream? And she's like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. And she takes the bite, and then she like giggles, and
Yeah.
he like laughs.
And
And
she notices he has 2 of everything on his tray.
yeah.
So she starts eating.
Yeah, she starts eating
Ice
the ice
cream.
cream. And then that's the end. Okay?
She's cured.
Now, ice cream is a big trope of these movies, Drew.
You'll come to find out.
You'll come to find out that ice cream cures everything.
It really does.
Anything you were thinking about ice cream? It's like you scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream.
We ice cream for
Yep.
ice cream.
That,
Yeah.
That's what this movie was basically saying.
Absolutely.
You know?
It will save your life.
Yes.
Ice cream goes right through me. So it's not really like.
So you don't
ice
need
cream?
the laxatives.
I don't. Yeah. No, I just eat ice cream.
That wraps up our conversation about Best Little Girl in the World. Rebecca, do you have anything? Or I'll leave it to you to pour it up or put a cork in it. But this is your floor to say anything you'd like to about the movie or anything like that as well.
You know, so I never went to inpatient treatment,
Right.
like Casey did. But the people who I know who have, in today's understanding of eating disorders, they understand that you have to have a support system in order to heal,
Yeah.
or at least get to a place where you are living and not the eating disorder is living for you. And that is something that these movies so far have not shown at all.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of stuff.
Yeah. They cut the patient off entirely from the people who are supposed to be their support system. So they really have no chance of success once they're outside of the treatment center. So
Right.
if you are struggling, if you are doing that, like look for the support system.
Yeah.
Don't let yourself get cut off from that.
Right.
And it sounds like that it's a lot of family issues. So your support system is not your family. Like
Not always.
Not always.
Like if that's the
In
case.
this case, probably.
In-
correct.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. This movie also, like, her dad got mad. I think it was after she stole laxatives or something, and he took it as like a personal attack, like her eating disorder was a personal attack on him, which is another thing that keeps coming up in these movies, is that somebody is not who they really are and is attacking the people around them.
They're acting out of like
spite.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you that you're not great.
That's
Right.
weird.
It is
a weird way to like portray that. I mean, I wonder if that does
Do you think this happens in the real world? Because I can say yes, it does.
Probably. Okay. Okay. So it's like people being like almost offended that like if someone
because it's an act of rebellion against control that someone else is trying to put on you. Right.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So pour it up and put a cork in it,
Put
girl.
a fucking cork in it.
Okay, Drew, what about you? What do you
Yeah, I'm going to put a cork in it.
Yeah.
Mainly because of that one line where it's just like, it's a sexual thing. It's like, no, it isn't. It is not. That's horrible. Fuck off.
And maybe it was for like one case, or I mean, there are probably cases that can prove the opposite, but it's it would be a symptom of something bigger.
It's way deep. I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Great. I am also going to put a cork in this one, and here's why. So, even though this movie brought a lot of awareness at the time, I think that it also didn't really it was more of a disservice than a service, because there's no real resolution in this story, and there is ice cream. It's ice cream, and
ice cream is the answer.
It's dangerous to put that out there, because then people use this as a point of like, this is the bar of what I need to do if I want to be if I want to have an eating disorder. It kind of like sets you up to like see what you need to do.
Yeah, it shows
as like
you.
a laundry list of like, okay, I'm gonna take laxatives, or I'm gonna do whatever. And also, the movie like exploits like people. So like I talked about the body double. She was actually, according to comments on YouTube, so take this with a grain of salt, she was a dancer and she was a body double, and she was like at the very dangerous part of her disease where she could be a body double as an anorexic person, and she died before the movie and like got released.
Oh shit.
From the disease.
God.
And so it's like an urban legend about that character.
Yeah.
But it's just showing like the production didn't care to get that person like actual help to get better. They were just like, we need a skinny person.
It's like, hey,
you're very skinny.
Yeah.
So that's kind of problematic. And then also the people of the time, this is a real headline from People magazine when the movie was originally released. The headline is, an aspiring Hollywood heavyweight, Jennifer Jason Leigh, lands a fat role as an anorexic.
Oh my God.
That's the title of the article. So that's the time. That's what we're dealing with in that time period.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this movie is problematic, but I think the world was problematic at that time.
Yeah, I think everything was. Yeah.
And so, I put a cork in it for sure.
Yes.
I will say there's one thing that is good that came out of this movie was Strangers with Candy did a parody of this.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's probably why you know it, because like it's like Jerry Blank is like she gets an eating disorder, but not really. She's just like starving herself for attention, literally.
Yeah.
And it parodied it does the whole song and everything, and they change the lyrics, and it's like, you're fat. I couldn't find a clip because they don't have it on streaming.
Yeah.
But highly recommend Feather in the Wind by Strangers with Candy. Great. Stephen Colbert. Jerry, what's her name? Amy Sedaris, yeah. Wonderful. Okay, before we go, we of course have to do a Candace to lighten the mood.
Lighten the mood.
Yes, thank you both for diving in. Thank you, listeners, for sticking with us. If this is something that you're interested in and you want to talk about, reach out to us on social media. We're always here to talk these things out. Okay, but for now, let's do a Candace. Catch the bouquet. Candace hates the gays. Candace Cameron Bure. Drinking rosé. Eating creme brulee. Candace Okay, what you say, Candace Cameron Bray, the segment where we watch Candace's Instagram and we talk about it. We follow her so you don't have to, so don't do it, girl. All right, I got a clip. Candace has been on a social media hiatus because she was like working too much and her life is hard. So here is the clip and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Candace's Car Chronicles.
Oh.
Man, it's been a long time since I've said that. I feel like I'm never even driving because I'm never even at home. But
She
I'm
does
home
this
today,
while she's driving.
and
She says she's parked.
I'm gonna go work out with Kira. I'm very excited about that. And then having a family day. Sunday, barbecue day. Not really barbecuing because it's kind of cold here, but friends and family coming over. We're all cooking. It's going to be a good day because this is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. Wishing you all a great Sunday.
Candace is very upset
I'm
As
not,
is
I am
Leslie,
not
but-
upset.
because that piece
I
of
am not
steak back
upset.
there.
It's
is-
just getting the well done treatment
Yeah,
for Kira.
well done for me.
Okay. So Candace had a barbecue with her friends. That's her fitness trainer. Yes, she loves her. And that woman had a new app out and Candace was like, download the app. Do fitness with me.
Boom, rich.
Yes,
Boom,
exactly.
rich.
She's like, oh, okay, I'm rich now. But I love that Candace, first of all, is like, I'm having a barbecue. And then it's like one piece of meat on a grill.
There's like two people.
Two
Yep.
people, one steak, you know.
Poor girl.
And Candace, I guess, likes her steak medium or rare and is offended by the well-doneness of the steak.
I mean, I'm going to side with Candace Cameron Bure
At
on
least
this
on the
one.
steak.
On the
Yeah.
steak, for sure.
What I love is that the girl, Kira, is like, Candace is so mad. And Kira's like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad, though.
No, I'm not.
I'm not.
No, I'm not.
She has to be.
I'm always happy.
She has to rejoice
Exactly.
in the day that the Lord has
And
made.
be glad in it.
It's true. It's true. It's just funny to me that she's like, I'm not mad.
Can I comment on that like rejoice and be glad in it?
Yes.
Is one of the most redundant fucking things when you say, like when you say
Oh,
this
because
shit.
rejoice and be glad mean the same thing?
Well, just you're like, let's rejoice. Also, let's be glad that we're rejoicing.
Right. Oh, boy, Candace. Well,
That's more not making fun of Candace Cameron. That's making fun of like
language.
the Bible and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, great.
Yep.
Well, great. You know, if we haven't offended anyone by this point in the podcast, there you go.
There it
There you
is.
go.
I just made fun of the Bible. What?
Oh, boy. Okay, so I think that wraps up this conversation. Just one more thing about people. Not people. If you need help or support with anorexia or bulimia and you're listening to this podcast and you're like, whoa, I have a problem, or I'm feeling triggered, you can call 1-800-931-2237 for support, 24-hour hotline for someone to talk to about these problems. So, yes, please do that if you are struggling with that. Because, you know, you might not even realize, like, you might have, like, not... you might have had some problem in like your teens and now you're like 40 and you're like, oh, well, I'm feeling weird now or whatever. I mean, because, right? I don't think you ever really get over an eating disorder. No. So,
Well, because it's a it's a psychological thing. I mean, you got to get it. It's always, you always have to treat.
Yes.
yeah, you have to
Treat
take
it.
care of yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So take care of yourselves.
It's just like depression, just like any of those things.
Right.
It's like you got to keep on it.
Right.
You gotta keep
Because
on
it's
it
a
all the time.
psychological disorder that America is really weird about
Really weird about it.
talking about. Yeah. And it's weird talking about it with you guys because it's something I've been looking forward to doing. But I'm also like very nervous about like, I don't know, just like saying the wrong thing or like offending someone.
Right.
When, you know, it's something that like I personally experience as well. So like, you know, we're all dealing with this together and like I'm hoping this helps someone, you
Yes.
know, that's the point. And also to talk about the tropes of these crazy movies because
Yeah.
they're very problematic.
They're
Also
so
to
bad.
make you laugh.
Sure. So, Rebecca, do you have anything like to plug or say in this time of the end of the podcast?
You can find me on Instagram at Freezer, FRESER_. Again, check out my blog, RebekahReads.com, and the Lifetime Uncorked blog.
Yeah.
Mm,
Drew,
yeah.
how about you?
You can find me, Drew Butt with Pants, on Instagram. And also I was recently on I was a guest on our favorite gals who do Hallmark stuff.
Yes, they do.
The Happily Never After podcast. I was a guest on there. We had a blast.
It was very fun. I listened to it today before I came over here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out on there. Oh, and my band, Little Limbos. Check us out.
Check it out.
On Spotify and all those things.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And thank you, listeners, for checking back in with Lifetime on Court. We watch these movies so you don't have to, but if you do, we'd love to hear from you. You can follow me at Patrick Miguel or the podcast at Lifetime on Court. Don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcast. 5 stars. Okay, I think that's it. Bye.
Bye.